So good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Today we will be learning about fractional distance in 2 dimensions. This is very similar to what we did yesterday, except this will be, instead of a number line, it should be on a graph. We'll do examples of a graph a little bit later on. So again, we have our formula up here. So dp is xpyp, and then we break that further down into xp equals x1 plus f x2 minus x1, and then yp, which is y1 plus f is y2 minus y1. Just like yesterday, our f is our fractional value. So whatever fraction is given, that's what you will be substituting that with. So we go ahead and start. Number 1 says find the point 3/4 of the way from point A to point B. So again, right off the bat, the first step would be to label x1, y1, and this will be x2, y2. So again, off to the side, we have to determine and label the given values. So all of the components from these two up here have to be replaced down here. So I don't have much space here, so I'm going to go ahead and write it in this section right there. So we have x1, which equals -1. Then we have x2, which equals 7. We have y1, which equals 5. And then we have y2, which is 1. Our f, which is our final component, is 3/4. So that's exactly what we are going to write there. So here we'll say 3 divided by 4. And this is a big parentheses right here. All right, so step 2 is substitute values into the midpoint formula above and solve. So we're going to use this exact same one. So we will say xp equals x1 plus f x2 minus x1. So that's a plus right there. Let's replace those, and x1 is -1 plus our fraction, which we said 3/4. x2 is 7 minus x1, which is -1. So let's pause this video and give that a try on our calculators. Just like we do our 1 dimension, we're also going to start from right to left. So our first step should be 7 plus 1. So we will say xp equals -1 plus 3/4. And then you should have gotten 7. This becomes a plus. You should have gotten an 8. Then again, we'll start going this way. So 8 times 3/4 will give us, I think, 6. So xp equals -1 plus 6. And once we do this final operation, that will give us 5. So xp over here will equal 5. So I'm going to erase this, and now it is turn for our y value. So I'm going to erase it because I don't have much space, but of course you will be doing it on your own. So I'm going to write the equation and then substitute our values. So pause this video and let's fill those out. Right, so all I did here was change our formula, and actually I forgot to do I forgot to do y1 for some strange reason. I guess I was just copying it down. So let me go ahead and get that replaced. So y1 is actually 5. So let's get that replaced. And again, we start from right, go to left. So we will say 5 plus 3/4. And then 1 minus 5 will be a negative 4. Again, so once we are done with finding our parentheses here, we're going to go right to left. So YP will be 5 plus, and then 3/4 times 4 is actually going to give us a negative 3. So we add these two, 5 plus negative 3 will actually give us a 2. So 5 minus 3 is going to give us a 2. And so our YP over here will be 2. So our final answer would be DP equals 5, 2 box. So for number 2, let's go ahead and write our equation and our values. So pause this video and go ahead and fill those out. Alright, so I have the x1s over here, the equations over there, but first we have to label our x1, y1. So let's say this is x1, y1, and this is x2, y2. So x2, y2 over here. Again, let's replace what we know. x1, we said it will be 2, x2 was negative 3, y1 was 7, and y2 is negative 4. They want to know 1/6 of the way, so for our fraction will be 1/6. We come up here and replace our value, so that is 2 plus 1/6. X2 is negative 3 minus 2. So when we work from right to left, we drop these down first, and negative 3 minus 2 is actually going to give us a negative 5. Again, right to left, so the 2 drops, plus, and 1/6 times negative 5 will give us a negative 0.83. And once we add those points, we will have a 2 plus negative 0.83. So let's find out what that is in our calculator. So for our XP, we should have gotten 1.117. Let's go ahead and do our Y. So Y1 is 7 plus 1/6. Y2 is negative 4 minus Y1, which is 7. So right to left, negative 4 minus 7 is actually going to give us negative 11. And then when we multiply that times 1/6, we should have gotten, let's see, 1 divided by 6. Remember, put those in parentheses. 1 divided by 6 times negative 11. That should have given us negative 1.8. So negative 1.8, and when we solve that, it is 7 minus 1.8, which gives us 5.2. With that said, our answer should read DP. Let me try to write that neater. So DP equals 1.17, 5.2. Box around that. And we are done with these two problems. Let's go ahead and for the second video do a graph problem.